morning, Rabbi Kaplan. How are you today?
Good morning, Martin. I am fine. Baruch Hashem. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine too, thank you. And bless the name.
Blessed be Hashem's name indeed. Baruch Hashem. You know, a little bit of light can dispel a great deal of darkness. And the last time I checked, it is kind of impossible, certainly a fraught endeavor to take on darkness directly. You know, locking horns with darkness usually leaves you darkened yourself. As the famous metaphor goes, if you wrestle with the muddy one, you become muddied. So how should we deal with a world of creeping darkness? And the answer must be with joy and with light. And this is a time of the year in which we minimize our expressions of joy. Shabbat is going to be Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av. It's the beginning of the proverbial 9 days, 9 degrees of mourning as we approach the saddest day on the Jewish calendar, which is Tisch. And there are those who mistakenly think that we should walk around miserable all day for 9 days. Firstly, Rosh Chodesh is Shabbat. And on Shabbat, we are not permitted to exhibit any kind of mourning in an overt way. So it must be understood that on Shabbat, even the Shabbat of the 9 days, and even on Shabbat of Erev Tisha B'Av, because of our concern of eclipsing the holiness, the sanctity, the illumination, and yes, the joy of Shabbat, that we don't overtly express ourselves in a mournful way. In fact, the Rebbe maintained that based on the Kabbalah and the traditions of the mystics and the Kabbalists, that Shabbat in the 9 days is a precursor of the future. We know that the era of Mashiach is referred to as Yom Shekulo Shabbat, a day which is entirely Shabbat-like, and it is going to be a time of serenity and joy, peace and fulfillment. And when we have Shabbat in the 9 days, and this year we have 2 Shabbatot in the 9 days, what we're getting is a foretaste of the future to come, because these days, which are sad, Be'ezrat Hashem, with the coming of Mashiach, will become days of joy. As it is written, Yahafchu Yomim Elu, these days will be transformed. Not only will they no longer be sad days, but they will be days of sason v'simcha, days of happiness and rejoicing. And on Shabbat, we have a microcosm of the future cosmic Shabbat already in hand. Even having said all of that, even having said this idea that there is mimatim b'simcha, that the method of serving Hashem is by following the code of Jewish law, the Shulchan Aruch, and we all must endeavor to live by the Shulchan Aruch. And there are various limitations, like not wearing freshly laundered garments and not taking pleasure showers or doing pleasure bathing or going swimming, trips and renovations which are not needed for basic living, but rather are done in order for people to luxuriate. It's not appropriate during these days. And so, there's a minimization of simcha, but at the same time, it doesn't say there is no simcha. And we have to continue to find joy in Hashem's Torah. We can minimize our material joy and our taste for material pleasure, but when it comes to the study of Torah, and when it comes to our rejoicing and delighting in the performance of a mitzvah and in making a positive difference in somebody else's life, Martin, this is something that we are each obligated to do. And you know, there are many who have a tradition of making a siyum, making a completion of a mesechet, so that they can eat meat, because during the 9 days we don't eat meat, we don't drink wine, as we mourn the loss of the Beit HaMikdash, the korbanot, which were primarily animal offerings, and the wine libations. Our tradition is that we continue not to eat meat and we don't drink wine during these days. Yet, the Rebbe encouraged the making of a siyum. And the reason, he said, is this is a way that is licensed by Torah for us to bring joy into a time that otherwise is lacking in joy and has less joy. So the upshot is that we must be very, very careful and scrupulous about following Jewish law, but at the same time, within the frame of Torah halacha, within the frame of law, we have to try to bring joy to ourselves and to others. And with joy and with light, we can dispel the darkness. We can get rid of the gloom and doom. We can focus on the happier aspects of life, and the fact that Be'ezrat Hashem, very, very soon, all of this, Martin, is coming to an end forever, and we are going to see the most wonderful era unfolding in real time, in our time, with the coming of Mashiach, transforming these sad days into days that have a Yiddishkeit joy attached to them, is a way to accelerate that process and to taste the future now. I encourage everybody to do what they can to bring simcha to themselves and to others, a simcha shel mitzvah, delighting in the privilege of serving Hashem and of making our world the hallowed, holy, godly, and sanctified place it can, and Be'ezrat Hashem will soon become in an overt fashion with the arrival of Mashiach in our time, b'mheira u'b'yameinu, speedily, and in our days. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Rabbi Kaplan. I'm looking forward to speaking tomorrow when you're going to be the main event for our audience participation show.
Looking forward to that as well, Martin, and we'll talk more about this Be'ezrat Hashem tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good to me.
And thank you all for joining. Have a beautiful day.